In today's video, I'm covering 5 more hidden gems on the Nintendo GameCube. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, I did cover 5 GameCube hidden gems in a previous video. I highly encourage you to check that video out. I'll leave a link to that in the description down below. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the first hidden gem. The first GameCube hidden gem I want to talk about in today's video is Geist. Geist is a first-party, first-person shooter with a unique twist, developed by InSpace and Nintendo and published by Nintendo in 2005 on the GameCube. In Geist, you take on the role of a scientist named John Ramey as he investigates the Volks Corporation. The mission goes horribly wrong and Ramey is captured and his soul removed from his body to turn him into a spectral soldier for Project Z. Ramey then sets out to save his friend Bryson, regain his body, and stop Volks' Project Z. The game is divided into 13 levels, each divided into a number of stages. Each level has you navigating the environments to complete objectives which range anything from protect this person to possess this person or destroy this thing, so on and so forth. Now, even though this is a first-person shooter, it really feels more like a puzzle game than a shooter, although there's still plenty of action to be had. As the ghost, you're invisible to anything living. When you are in ghost form, time moves very slowly around you, enabling you to really take your time and plan your next move. While in ghost form, you can also hover for a brief period of time, move through slips and cracks, and of course possess both objects, people, and animals. And this is where the puzzle aspect comes into play. You can't just float over to any human or animal and possess them, and that's where object possession comes into play. You have to scare humans enough to possess them, and in order to do that, you have to first possess objects around them to scare them in various ways. It's like a puzzle figuring out who you need to possess to progress, and how to scare them enough to possess them, and these puzzles are quite clever and sometimes hard to figure out. The unique gameplay mechanic of being a ghost and possessing humans, animals, and objects to complete your objective is so incredibly unique, fun, and satisfying that it propels this from being an average and forgettable game to an incredibly fun and unique experience that you will likely never forget. Now, if you want to learn more about Geist, I did a very detailed episode of GameCube Gallery on the game. I'll leave a link to that in the description down below so that you can check that out. The next hidden gem we're going to talk about is iNinja. iNinja is an action-adventure platformer developed by Argonaut Games and published by Namco in 2003 on the GameCube, PS2, Xbox, and PC. In iNinja, you are a ninja who sets out to acquire all of the Rage Stones in the land before the evil Emperor Odor does. iNinja consists of 5 large areas containing 17 different levels, each with multiple grades to acquire, 5 bosses, several mini-games, and an optional battle arena. You'll be exploring and fighting in beaches, jungles, mountains, and hell, even the moon. At its core, iNinja is an action platformer. You will be fighting with a fairly simplistic but enjoyable combat system and using your ninja skills to wall jump, glide, climb, grind, swing, and wall run your way through each level. You'll be using your sword, darts, shurikens, and some basic combos to battle a large variety of enemies. You have different power-ups you can use like Ninja Berserker, Ninja Revive, Ninja Shuriken, and iNinja. There are some awesome and creative boss battles in iNinja, like the first boss where you are in a giant mech basically boxing the boss similar to the gameplay in Punch-Out, and it is a blast. iNinja is full of cartoony violence and a ton of comedy sprinkled throughout, especially in some of the dialogue and crazy characters you meet. The ninja himself is an absolute psycho and I love it. Be warned though, iNinja is a pretty damn challenging game and there are some parts that will really test your patience, but the level design, gameplay variety, and comedy are all worth the difficult journey. I don't know why I never hear anyone talk about iNinja because it is a fantastic game and certainly a hidden gem that you should check out. The next GameCube hidden gem on the list is Second Sight. Second Sight is a third-person stealth action game released on the GameCube on September 21st, 2004 and was also released on the PS2, Xbox, and PC. In Second Sight, you take on the role of a researcher named Dr. John Vadek as you wake up in a medical facility and you have lost your memory and you also have psychic abilities. So you set out to regain your memory and figure out what the hell is going on. The missions usually alternate between past and present, with the past missions being heavy in run and gun combat, with present missions being heavy in stealth, psychic abilities, and also gun combat as well. The past missions are more linear, with you simply trying to make it through each level, completing objectives and killing enemies with various guns. You will utilize cover a lot, as this is more of a cover-based shooter in these missions. Present missions are slightly more non-linear and open-ended in your approach. One thing I like is that you have a lock-on aiming mechanic, but you can also fine-tune your aim within lock-on for headshots, and when you use a sniper rifle, the zoomed-in scope appears on your screen for fine-tuning, and I thought that was pretty unique. You could simply sneak your way through the level unnoticed. You could move through the level using your various psychic abilities at your disposal. You could run and gun through the level, or you could use a combination of the three methods. The choice is really up to you. No matter the approach, each level is packed with different paths to take, places to hide, enemies, civilians, objects to interact with, and puzzles. But the real star of the show here is your various psi abilities. You start off with telekinesis, allowing you to move objects with your mind, interact with things from a distance, and even move dead bodies. You acquire the ability to heal yourself. You acquire a psi blast, think of it like the force push in Star Wars. You acquire the ability to basically go invisible. You acquire the ability to do out-of-body projection, and even the ability to possess other people. The great thing is that all these abilities combined with the gun and the stealth give you a large variety in gameplay that keeps things from being repetitive. Second Sight is a very unique and fun action stealth game, and it is yet another game I never hear people talk about, and it is a total hidden gem, so go check it out. The next hidden gem on the list is Rogue Ops. Rogue Ops is a stealth action-adventure game released on the GameCube on October 29, 2003, and it also came out on the PS2 and Xbox if you want to play it there instead. It is mainly a third-person stealth game, think similar to the Splinter Cell series, but not quite as refined. In Rogue Ops, you take on the role of a woman named Nikki who is recruited by the Secret Phoenix organization a few years after her husband and son dies during a trip to Istanbul. She is recruited to help take down the terrorist organization known as Omega 19. Honestly, the story in Rogue Ops is pretty forgettable, but the stealth action is what I enjoy about the game. In each mission, you will be presented with a variety of objectives to complete, and the cool thing about Rogue Ops is that there are usually many options you can utilize for completing the objectives. In most missions, you could try to run and gun through them, but this is risky and difficult. Instead, it is better to employ stealth and your gadgets to get the job done. Although there are some missions where you have to be stealthy or you will fail. You can silently take out baddies with a stealth melee attack, which has you doing a short button prompt sequence to be successful, or you can use silenced guns, throwing stars, and your gadgets. When you take out a bad guy, you will need to hide the body so that you do not alert other guards. You can use cover to sneak around as well as the shadows, and there are also cameras to avoid and other forms of security. There are some cool gadgets at your disposal like the fly cam, retinal scanner, your visor, grappling hook, etc. And there are also some neat environmental puzzles to try to solve in some missions. Now, Rogue Ops is not a perfect game by any means, and certainly no Splinter Cell, and it received average reviews, but you know what? I think it is still a pretty damn fun stealth game, even with some of the frustrations, and I consider it to be a hidden gem, especially if you like stealth games. And the final GameCube hidden gem in today's video is Dr. Muto. Dr. Muto is a 3D platformer and released on the GameCube on December 17th, 2002, and you can also play it on the PS2 and Xbox. In Dr. Muto, you play as, well, a mad scientist named Dr. Muto, and his newest experiment has destroyed planet Midway because of his rival, Professor Bernatal, and he sets out on an adventure to rebuild the planet. The story and themes in this game are definitely geared more towards adults, as there is cussing, violence, and sexual innuendo spread throughout. There are 4 different planets consisting of large areas where the bulk of the gameplay takes place, and each planet has a number of sub-areas that are all seamlessly interconnected, and each planet ends with a boss fight. Your goal is to collect all the parts for the Genitor 9000 and collect all the bits of Terra, which are basically like stars in Super Mario 64 or Jiggies in Banjo, and you have to collect 80% of the isotopes, which are spread all over each planet. It controls like a typical 3D platformer, except you have a button to use your Spliz capture device, which is used to stun enemies, fling certain enemies and objects around, interact with switches, and capture DNA from animals. The DNA is used to unlock 5 different morphs the Doctor can transform into, and each morph has its own unique abilities and gameplay mechanics. The 5 morphs are the Gerbilis Doctorus, Doczilla, Arachnodoc, Spiny Dogfish, and Pterodactyl. There are also 6 different gadgets you can unlock and find scattered around the levels to use for combat, exploration, and gaining Terra. Each planet is packed full of enemies, secrets, hidden areas, traps and obstacles, and a ton of platforming challenges. There's a ton of variety in the gameplay, and Dr. Muto is also quite difficult, which is nice because most 3D platformers are way too easy. Now, I'm not going to go into any more detail because I was forced to make an episode of GameCube Gallery on it by a real-life mad scientist named Dr. Crazopoulos. If you want to see what the hell I'm talking about, I'll leave a link to that video in the description down below. Let's just say things get a little crazy. Needless to say, Dr. Muto is a fantastic 3D platformer with a fair bit of challenge that I really enjoy playing and beating, and it is without a doubt a hidden gem on the GameCube, so check it out. Well, there you have it, folks. 5 more hidden gems on the Nintendo GameCube, and those hidden gems are iNinja, Geist, Rogue Ops, Second Sight, and Dr. Muto. If you enjoyed this video, be sure and hit that like button. Let me know in the comments down below if you've played any of the games that I covered in today's video and what you think about them. Also, let me know in the comments down below if there are any other GameCube hidden gems that I should cover in a future video. As always, folks, if you're new here, consider subscribing so that you can join the RetroWolf family. Stay safe out there, keep playing games and having a good time, and I will see you all in the next video. Later.